The
Episode 11.
was that
We're
my
back.
that was my podcast voice I was using
That
there.
was good. That was good, Dan. Nice work.
All right.
Um,
We are trying yet another new method of going live on the three different platforms. So I'm just going to do some quick checks. But Carla, you can go ahead and do whatever your
well,
intro.
okay. Well, to elaborate on that, Dan and I are both remote, and we're not in the office today because we've both just gotten back from vacation. And I know that the previous post said that we were gone fishing, but we were not fishing. I was on vacation. I went to the beach for a friend of mine's wedding, and Dan was finishing up his degree in.
Here it is right here. The piece of paper. Degree in digital media.
Yeah, so he's just official. He's official
Official.
now. He is your official certified digital media specialist. So please email Dan at, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. With all of your digital media questions.
Yeah, it was definitely a long road, because I started this degree program in like 2018. And then 2020 and the pandemic happened, and it
So
basically was
40
like
years later.
it basically felt like 40 years later, yeah. So yeah, it was a long road, but I'm stoked to have that done and over with, and it can finally move on.
We are
And
also stoked for that to be done and over with. So that, so I mean, Dan really loved his classes a lot, and he talked about them often. But
Yeah, yeah. So I
um,
I definitely needed a vacation after that. I don't fish. When I go fishing, I mostly just catch sticks. So I don't fish, but I did get a nice little vacation in. So, but I'm stoked to be back in the office and
I am too.
back on the gauge, and
Me too.
we have a lot of things in the works. So I'm really stoked for
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So because we're not in the office, we didn't get to start with my episode 11 clicky clacky.
Yeah,
So
you don't have your clicky clacky, but
yeah,
next
so
time
we'll
we'll
have
have that
to
for next
not
time.
have that today. All right, so let's start off with what a very important question that everyone wants to know, which is today's icebreaker question. And I picked it, and it's what's the worst haircut that you've ever rocked?
The worst haircut that I've ever rocked. Um, I mean, besides when I was like, I don't know, 10, and my mom would just cut my hair with a bowl because I was
Like
part
a
of that.
literal bowl cut?
Yeah, a literal bowl cut, and then almost cut my ear off. But
Oh
I
my.
would I would say probably my second worst haircut. I'm actually gonna pull up a little photo for you.
Oh, show and tell?
Show and tell. Here we go. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my amazing fro and horrible facial hair.
What is
Uh,
that?
so just for context here,
What
uh,
happened to you?
just for context, this is when I first got out of the military. And so when I got out of the military, I did what any veteran does, and I grew out my hair. But instead of having long, nice straight hair, I have very heavy, curly, froey hair. And this was the result.
All right.
So
Well,
enjoy.
wow. Right. That's intense. Um, I don't have a picture to share. I will say that my worst haircut probably ever was in the early to mid 80s. And I had, and it was when the movie Annie was popular, and everyone wanted to be an orphan and then get adopted by a wealthy, millionaire. And so I had like the little orphan Annie fro. I had a perm, and it was a perfect.
Isn't she ginger? Right? She's.
Yes, but I didn't dye my hair. I was only like, 8 years old or 9 years old. But no, it was a perfect actual fro. And
Oh,
it
really?
was not life-changing. Like, I did not become an orphan, nor was I adopted by a wealthy person, but it was absolutely horrible. And the fact that my mom let me do that. But I mean, perms were pretty popular back in the 80s, like before you were born, Dan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, my there's a picture of my mom having like Marge Simpson hair, like literally like
Mhm,
5 feet tall hair.
mhm. All right,
That's awesome.
cool. So we can move on to some our next little section of the show, which is HomeGauge news and events. We have a couple things to talk about. First of all, we're running a really great sale on our very popular Essential website, plus 6 months of SEO for only, look at that, Dan. That's fancy. You can find more about it at that link. So it's an Essential website and 6 months of SEO for only $15.22. That's right, $1,522. And that is a website build, and it essentially comes out to 3 months of SEO for free. So it's get it while it's hot. It's been pretty
Yeah,
hot.
that's an insane, insane deal. So
It's
yeah,
crazy.
it's a crazy sale.
It is a crazy
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, go to that link, guys. Everyone, and go to that link in the that I have on the screen there, and it'll direct you to the HomeGauge website for to access those deals.
This
This link is also
that
in
link.
our bio as well.
Yes. Um, so that's it as far as the specials go. We do have a whole lot of neat things coming your way for people who use HomeGauge. So stay tuned. We're going to be rolling out some super cool news and updates over the summer. There are a couple that we can talk about right now. We have exciting update for WebWriter, which is that you can now create and manage multiple inspection templates to better customize and streamline your inspections. Uh, this is something it's kind of out there, but I was told that I could mention it. We will be releasing more information about this, along with a guide to help you get all set up within the next couple of weeks. So that's good news.
So you've heard it
And
here first. You heard it here first.
you heard it here first. Uh, and another one that we can talk about is, this isn't really new, but this is just, it's kind of new. Anyway, HomeGauge payments, which you can get if through HomeGauge, and where if you're not taking advantage of the tool, you should definitely check it out. It's very competitive rates and fees, is free to join. Inspectors using HomeGauge payments save time, they improve their efficiency. Who doesn't want that? It's secure and easy, online payment solution. So we've been offering that for a while now, but there are a couple new updates to that. The first, that you can now build a surcharge into your invoices. And what this means is that your customers will cover the cost of your credit card fees, and it will just automatically add to their invoice. So that's pretty cool. So then it really is, you're using it for free. And then with end of month billing is when you can pay any associated fees at the end of the month instead of each time a transaction is made. So a lot of people have been asking for that instead of seeing the little one-offs. And that would essentially gives you a statement at the end of the month showing with an accumulation of your fees, which if you've built the surcharge into your invoices, you've already covered them. So those are two cool new features. If you don't know about HomeGauge payments, you can sign up or find out more at, do you have a link that's going to fly
I
out?
don't have a link for that one
Oh,
yet.
I want to point at it. So to sign up or find out more, you can visit homegauge.com/one/payments. So those are our kind of internal updates regarding stuff HomeGauge is doing, and we're excited. Lots of cool stuff happening this summer. So stay tuned here, and also keep an eye out on for newsletters with more information, and also our social channels where we're always sharing this stuff as well. So I think now we can move on to everyone's maybe favorite part, which is us answering questions that came into us via our ask@homegauge.com email. And this is something for those of you tuning in for the first time. If you have any questions that you want us to answer live, you can email them directly to us at ask@homegauge.com. Is something going to fly out, Dan?
Not for that one.
No.
I'll
Okay.
get on all those other ones
Whenever it
the
happens,
next
I'll just
time.
point at it. I won't keep asking you if it's about to
Uh,
happen.
yeah. So yeah, like what Carla was saying was with the gauge. For anyone that is just joining us, I mean, this is only episode 11. So we haven't been doing this for that long yet. But yeah, so any kind of we'd like to ask, have answer questions live on the show that we've received to our email. You can also ask any questions on Instagram, or if you're watching us on the Facebook Live or on the YouTube Live, you can ask us questions in the chat, and those questions will come directly to us through this little program that we're using.
Yeah. Okay. So there is their main focus for this episode, because we've had a lot of activity and people asking us this lately, is the question of whether a customer's an inspector's website is optimized for voice search. And apparently 2023 is the year of people contacting. So it used to be, give us $100 and we'll get you to number one on Google. And people would be like, oh, do we do that? Well, of course not. You don't do that. But now what's happening is people are contacting inspectors who have websites, really anyone that has a website, and telling them that their site is not optimized for voice search and offering to help them do that. So we are here to clear that up, because it seems like there's been multiple instances of this happening. So I think it's a new thing that's going on, where people are, panicking and like, oh my gosh, how do I optimize my website for voice search? So we figured this is a good time to dive deeper into this topic. So hopefully we can answer those questions, and then also, people can watch this after the fact and get those same answers.
Right, absolutely. And so like one of the things that I want to say like right off the bat is what it's not. It's not just something that you can just turn on. Like,
It's not a
oh,
switch.
it's not a switch that you can be like, "Oh, I just need to do this one thing and now we're optimized for voice search." So it's not that. It's not something that's like, "Oh, is it a voice search plugin or something to optimize the site?" And it's not that either.
So
But
what is it,
what
Dan?
is it? So basically, the short story, I'm going to give you the short story first. All that voice search optimization is your basic and your standard SEO techniques. Okay. Now, uh
Wow. Tell me more.
so everything that we tell you to do for your website for to be able to optimize your site for SEO, for search engine optimization, it's the exact same thing. You're not doing anything special for voice search. So things that we would like to talk about, is basically making sure that your website has relevant keywords, right? So making sure that your keywords are, for home inspection, for all of the different services that you do, mold testing, termite inspections. Um, and then the thing that I want to talk about a little bit more is making sure that you're optimizing your site for more conversational, and more like natural, easy to read content. And what I mean by this is just like, just talking like a human being when it comes to the copy that is on your website and the blogs that you publish, for your website. And one of the biggest things that they say is making sure um, that you're utilizing more like they call it like long tail keywords and long tail content. And what that really means is that instead of just using one keyword like or two keywords like home inspections and plastering that all over the place, you want to use more long tail things, more like stuff like why are home inspections important? Why do I need a home inspection? Incorporating those kinds of question words into your blog content and into your site is going to help with that. Not only going to help with your overall SEO for your business and for your website, but also when it comes to voice search. So think about things that people would be like, "Hey Alexa, what states require a home inspection?"
Or
or
Siri.
or Siri or Google, or hey Google. My Google's probably going to go off.
I know.
Like, when
Waiting
should
for
I,
my watch to
like,
start talking to
hey
me.
Google, like, hey Siri, when should I get my home inspected? You know, will my house fall apart if I don't get a home inspection? Answering questions like that and having those questions in the actual copy of the blog or into the different copy of your website is definitely going to help. But on top of that, it also goes into the other regular normal SEO techniques as well, which I know Carla you can probably touch upon those a little bit
Yeah,
more.
I can do
I
that.
mean, it's all things that we talk about in every episode, but
Right.
it's just basically getting at is just like it's not it's not just something a switch that you can turn on, like, oh, my website is now voice optimized.
Right. And it sounds like, the people who are getting solicited, whether it's a phone call or whether it's email, the people who are contacting them are like, "Oh, you need to make sure this happens immediately," or something. And it's like, there's no way to do that. There's
Right.
not a magic switch for it. Just to get back to like what Dan was talking about as far as the content being conversational, I know we've talked about this before, but Google prioritizes content over everything, and it needs to be natural. It needs to be easy to read. And a good way of describing what a long tail keyword is like, what are you naturally going to search for on Google, right? And people aren't going to say home inspector necessarily Asheville, North Carolina. It's going to say, I need a home inspection, or why do I need a home inspection? And then it's going to return places near you. And this is where we're going to go into why you need strong local SEO. And I'm just going to, because I have to cover this in every single episode, we're going to talk about Google Business. So you must fill out your Google Business profile. This is what helps your local SEO. And in order for voice search to be optimized for your website, let's just go ahead and say that your website needs to be optimized for the search engines. If your website is optimized for the search engines and the SEO on your website is strong, then you're automatically, like, because of that, you're optimized for voice search. So it's just a new little tactic that people are trying. And I like to say it's just a little new tactic to like alarm people so that you'll throw your money at them. And you don't need to do that. But you absolutely do need a strong, sorry, my dog's barking, I think at the UPS guy. Um, he's her best friend. Okay, sorry. Um, so yeah. So anyway, Google Business is really important. Review building is really important. The stronger that your local SEO is, the better also that voice search is going to work for you. Another thing that's important for that, we consult my little notes here, is schema markup. So what is schema? I think we've touched on this and I won't go into too many details, but basically schema markup converts unstructured data into structured data, and which is the language that the search engines use to read and understand what your site is about. So it's something on So the websites that have SEO with us, that have our premium SEO plan, we do schema markup every time that we post a blog. And the main sites or the main pages on their sites also have schema markup. And it's nothing that a user is going to see on the front end of the website. It's on the back end of the website, and it helps your site rank better with the search engines because they better understand the pages, each and every page of your website, and what it is that your website's about. So it's going to return you in the relevant results. Also making sure that your site is optimized, user friendly, and that it's responsive across all devices. So whether that's smartphones, mobile, tablets, etc., desktop. And what that means is that your site is going to render appropriately at all of those sizes. So whether you're on a desktop or on a phone, there's no overlapping weird content or stuff scrolling, off to the right of the page or the left of the page. And, the older a site is, the less likely it is going to be optimized for mobile. And that can certainly impact your SEO. And that's going to be your, SEO just in general, but also your voice search optimization, which is this
Yeah.
new thing.
Right. Well, and a lot of people might ask, like, well, what does it matter if my site's responsive on mobile or on different devices if I'm trying to just get optimized for voice search? And and the biggest thing is because, well, more and more people are the reason that they're doing the voice search is they're probably talking to their phone,
Right.
right? And then therefore they're going to be pulling up your website on their phone or their tablet. Um, but even then, though, when your site's not optimized and not responsive across all devices, Google hates that and they will ding you for that.
Hates it.
So, back to the Google Business Profile. I always mention it every time. Is one of the biggest things that a lot of people tend to overlook is making sure that their service area is marked out, making sure that you do not have all of North America marked out for your service area, and making sure that you are picking your key cities that you operate in and making sure that it is mapped out correctly on your Google business profile. And I know I mentioned that every episode as well, but it's a big one.
We will always mention all of these things. And you guys make it really easy when you ask us questions because it all, as far as, search engines and websites and, different, voice search optimization or search engine optimization or local SEO, all of the factors that go into strengthening each of those are all the exact same thing. So that's why, it might sound repetitive, but it's because it is. And it's that important though. So yeah, a site that's optimized across devices matters. Another thing is load time. So if your site, a site that loads more quickly is going to be seen more favorably by the search engines. Older sites and sites that are not optimized and that aren't responsive and that have a ton of images and just a ton of, we call it garbage content, just all the words, because people used to just throw all the words in there and be like, I have so much stuff on my website, but it's like it doesn't say anything. So older sites like that are kind of cluttered, and that's how sites used to be. It's like, how much can we throw on this page? And then it's like, look how legit we are, we have so many words. It doesn't matter. I mean, that is actually frowned upon. It's, the quality of your content matters far more than how much content that you have. Although you do need to have enough. You want at least 350 plus words of content on each page, so it's not too thin, but you don't need 2,000 words of, weird sentences talking about,
I
know,
always I always
every
go I always go back into like, I'm sorry, but you do not need 10 pages of the history of mold.
you don't need that. And you might want it, but it's not necessary.
Right.
So, that's another thing to consider when you're talking about content is your website is for your user. It's for the visitor, right? They need to be able to easily find information, have it be easy to digest, easy to navigate. Every single, well-designed website with well-curated content is going to automatically give you a leg up as far as SEO is concerned. So an older site with a ton of content that doesn't really make sense, that has a bunch of images or, a million different badges for everything that you're certified in, that's always going to impact load time. And a site that loads slowly will not get ranked as well by the search engines. They will, in fact, ding you for that. So, you know, all of these little bullet points kind of wrap up into best practices for, we'll just say, search engine optimization. And now we'll add a
Right.
little slash after that, and voice search optimization, since this is like a new thing now. I mean, the voice search isn't, but people trying to market this and try to sell people on them optimizing their website for voice search. So I can tell you with confidence right now that if you're in SEO with us, you're already optimized for voice search. If you're not in SEO with us, then, and you have a website, make sure someone's doing SEO on it, because you need that for traditional organic searches. And you also need it so that you're optimized for voice search.
Right, right. And there's a lot of new changes that are coming down the pipeline with Google, and Google exploring the new AI, that they'll be showcasing. A few of us have already looked at some of the last Google conference, that was just released a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and there is a lot of new things coming down the pipeline, and a lot of changes of how, how marketers are going to have to change, how they look at things as well. So, um, just know that, yeah, we're always staying on top of the latest Google trends, and the different standards that comes down the pipeline, and so, yeah.
Cool.
Let's see here. We are at 127. If you, like I said,
Oh,
if you have, we try to keep these episodes fairly
about
short,
30 minutes.
about 30 minutes here. Let me see if there's any questions in the any of the chats here. Um,
I can't see any of that from over here, Dan.
I know. I'm checking.
In the meantime, while Dan's checking that, something just to remember, that, you're a lot of we have a lot of people that contact us, for website audits, or that have older websites, and they're like, well, my site is fine and I get plenty of traffic. And the thing is, you want your customers to have the best experience, and you'll do even better with a newer website. And it is really so important for SEO, if nothing else, to increase the speed of your website, to the responsive. A new website is going to be responsive. Like, if you do nothing else, if you have a 10-year-old site, get a newer site. It will absolutely help you long term. And immediately it should help you with any optimization, whether traditional on-site optimization, or now my new favorite, voice search optimization.
Well, cool. Well, we don't have any questions today. We don't have any more questions that came through. But
Okay.
again, that email address is ask@homegauge.com, and we'll answer any of those questions that come through that email live on the show. So yeah, if you want to head us on out of here with the closing thoughts, Carla, or do you want me to take
Closing
it?
thoughts. Okay, I'll start us off.
Uh, um,
Or do you want to? No, I'll do it. Okay. So we have been looking at different ways. I think we touched on this initially, about how we can stream across multiple channels. And we have determined that for for now, we're not going to be going live on Instagram anymore because Facebook and YouTube are getting the most viewers and offer the best experience. The platform that we're using to stream across channels doesn't connect or work really with Instagram.
There's a very long delay is
There
basically
is
it.
such a long delay that I can't even we were testing it yesterday and I was like, I can't even look at this. It's so weird. So yeah, we don't have a good way of doing that now, but we have had the feedback we've been getting is that people are on Facebook and then they're watching YouTube and we understand this is live in the middle of your workday, so a lot of people are reviewing the full videos once they're posted anyway, rather than joining the live. So but don't worry, we're still going to share clips from the show on Instagram and on TikTok. And you can always find the full episodes on our YouTube channel. Another important update, which isn't really news at this point, we're just going to confirm it. But again, based on your feedback, we're going to continue going live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other Wednesday moving forward. Oh, look at that, Dan. So stay tuned to our social channels for updates. For those of you who have joined us from the beginning, we were at first doing the show at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and everyone asked if we could do it during the workday. We're just trying to figure out what works best for you guys, and what we've heard is that this is it. So that works for us because then we just take a little break from our desk and do this show. So if you're not following us on Instagram, you can do that at HomeGauge for our main account. And do you, okay. At HomeGauge Web Services for everything web related and for dad jokes. So that's it for our update. So for episode 12, we do have a very special guest lined up. And I'm not going to name names yet, but it's someone from our mysterious yet esteemed product team, and it's going to be wild.
Oh, it's
So,
gonna be so wild.
so wild.
So wild. What's the date on that?
Mark your calendars now for June 14th, Wednesday, June 14th at 1 p.m. for a wild and crazy time
A
with our
wild and
guests.
crazy time.
Yep.
Awesome. That sounds great.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
it.
thank you. Thank
That's
you,
all I got.
everyone. Episode 11.
That's a wrap.
That's
Bye.
a wrap. Bye.